Hi there guys, Mike Shreve here, and in today's video we are going to settle the debate between testimonials versus proofing mechanisms and their effectiveness on a sales page. Now, before we even get started, I need to make it incredibly clear that I'm not saying that you should do one or the other. What I'm saying is when you're building your sales page, one of these two things is more effective to spend your time on gathering than the other. Okay, so let's go ahead and start, and I'm going to use my sales page because I'm a little bit uncomfortable breaking down other people's sales page. So we'll just go ahead and tear apart my sales page here. So this is for freelancecopywritermike.com, where you can get copywriting services from me for as little as $97. But what we're going to do is sort of pick apart what worked and what hasn't worked based off of split testing and running. I get about 200, 300 hits per day to this particular page. So I've been doing this since February, this particular sales page since February, so lots and lots and lots and lots of data. So you've got some proof here, and I'll show you, basically we'll break it down between where the proof is and where the testimonials are. Here's the proof here in this sort of little tiny screenshot, and then there's proof in the sample section, so that's the proof of my ability to deliver copy and what that looks like. A little bit, I mean, technically you could say the blog is a little bit of proof as well, but we're gonna skip that because most people don't necessarily go to the blog. They simply click the samples when trying to decide. The page that we're looking at right now, you may not see this when you go to freelancecopywritermike.com because I'm actually testing adding even more proof, and this is a simple screenshot of the some sample emails that I've sent out to my own list, so that's some more proof. And then if you go down here, there's a little bit of proof here where I show just like a scammy headline and how I try not to write those kind of headlines. Some more proofing mechanisms here, just about listing off my achievements, and then you have testimonials. I have one video testimonial and a bunch of these other testimonials here. And then you've got pricing, and then I'm pretty sure that's all the proof and testimonial stuff. Okay. So first I want to talk about this section here. Working with the best clients in the world to make me look good makes me write harder too. This is where I put all of the testimonials. Now I've served over 400 clients since February. I think it may be even over 450 at this point. And these are the testimonials that I've decided to share. I don't really update my testimonials very much at all. I almost never ask for testimonials, and here's the reason why. Testimonials are incredibly easy to get, meaning they're not really worth a lot. So as you're scrolling down this particular page, you see that I have quite a few of them, and the reason that I have so many of them is that I know that one testimonial doesn't really mean that much. In order to get the quote-unquote social proofing that supposedly testimonials give you, you kind of have to have like a lot of them. They need to be consistent, and they need to be high in number because that's the social proofing aspect. It's not like, oh hey, this one guy likes it. It's like, oh hey, all of these people like it, and that's really important. Now there's a problem with that when you do that, because as you can see here, there's quite a bit of reading and scrolling to do in order to get through all of these testimonials and onto my sales page. Pricing, right? So there's that risk. So number one, I know for a fact nobody reads every single one of these testimonials. I know that for a fact from the heat maps and from clicks and all that good data that I got running Visual Website Optimizer. So what this does really, more than even the words itself, is it sort of paints this picture. There's a lot of people that like the service, but nobody's reading all of this, and there may be some people who are they get turned off by having to read through this, or they get turned off by having to scroll all the way down. So there's that sort of you run that risk when you're doing this with your own page. Additionally, most testimonials, and I'm saying this even as I'm breaking apart my own page, most testimonials are slightly exaggerated. People who leave testimonials tend to like the person in a very biased way, right? Most testimonials are not unbiased. So there's this bias that plays into it. And that's good for you, but the fact of the matter is, especially if you're working in the internet marketing world, people kind of know that, right? They know that there's these sort of cult gurus out there and that people will say good things about them even if they rip them off for $1,000. They'll still have nice things to say. And so again, it sort of cheapens the value of each testimonial. Unsolicited testimonials, however, are very powerful. That being said, most unsolicited testimonials that are really powerful shouldn't be put on your sales page, because an unsolicited testimonial is like someone in a Facebook group saying, Mike's copywriting services are awesome. That's a powerful unsolicited testimonial. If I went to that Facebook group, I pulled it off and I put it on my sales page, that could actually lessen the value of the testimonial because it appears that I was in on it to some degree, right? And so it doesn't really seem unsolicited anymore. And oftentimes, testimonials that you're trying to get can backfire on you because somebody who is leaving a testimonial out of some obligation tends not to leave that great of a testimonial. It doesn't mean they don't use good words, but there's like that sense of attitude of like, this isn't really that great. And with all that said, right, with all that I just said about testimonials, the social proofing is amazing, but consider this, and this may offend some people, but that's whatever. The entire Christian religion, well, really all religions, but the Bible in particular, is essentially just testimonials, right? If you know the history of the Bible, you know how it was created, you know that most of what's written are secondhand testimonial type accounts. So with however millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of Christians around the world, it obviously works. There's a book of testimonials, and it has built this really huge organization, religion, whatever you want to call it, based off of testimonials. So they do work. However, compared to proof, that's an entirely different story. So in another video, I'm going to be talking about proofing mechanisms and what kind of proof you can add to your page, but I want to talk about proof as the sort of crux that you should be even developing your products around because it's so powerful. Just think about, I'm just going to list a few things and just think about this in your own buying habits, before and after shots. The guy's 500 pounds before, now he's 98 pounds and ripped. Maybe not 98, maybe 198 pounds and he's totally ripped. Versus a testimonial, the before and after shot. The OxyClean before and after shot, really, really dirty, soaked it in OxyClean, bam. That's so much more powerful than if they had just interviewed a bunch of OxyClean fans, right? The difficulty with proof is that it is frankly harder to get. Particularly if you're a new product creator, a new service provider, it's harder to get. If you don't have any samples, there's not much proof you can provide. So sometimes you have to go out and create samples yourself. But because of the difficult nature in gathering legitimate proof, if you have it, that automatically sets you up and sets you apart from all the other sales pages of similar products in your niche. So if you can be the weight loss guy that actually has customers who have lost weight, you win. If you're in the spirituality niche and you actually have proof that people, maybe somebody was like really poor and you're into the secret type stuff, manifestation and all that. Maybe someone was poor, 6 months later they're now driving a Ferrari because of the manifestation methods that you taught them. That is proof. Now that's a little bit more like a testimonial proof, but again, we'll talk about proofing mechanisms in a different video, but it's different than just having a headshot say, talking about how nice of a person you are kind of testimonial. And really what proofing allows you to do is remove doubt of your legitimacy. So testimonials, no matter how powerful and how great they are, there's always that element of doubt. And as you know, a sales page's purpose is to remove all doubt from the prospect's mind. And if you can use proofing to do that, you can literally, with the right amount of proofing, completely remove the doubt from a prospect's mind. And then at that point, it's just a matter of, does this particular product match up with what they want at this time? And when you can get to that level with the sales page, that's when you start seeing the 20-30% conversion rates on semi-warm email lists and all these sorts of things. So let me break down some results that I have had in my own sales page using testimonials versus proofing. So these are some split testing results. So before I added this particular blurb here about the page you are about to read generates this amount of money, and then having this tiny little screenshot, before I did that, this particular page was converting in the single digits, so like 8 or 9%. When I added this particular little blurb here, it went from sub doubles to 13 to 14%. Okay, so it was like a 5 or 6% increase just by adding this particular thing. I didn't change the target audience. I didn't change my Facebook ad. I didn't change anything like that. It was just adding this little bit. Now, that's pretty darn insane and impressive, but the reason is, and again, we'll talk about this in another video coming out soon about proofing mechanisms. The thing is that this particular bit of proof is precisely what my target audience needed to see in order to remove all of the doubt, right? Now, if you scroll down here and you look at this testimonial, this is not a joke. I'm not lying, but adding the video testimonial and a few more testimonials here did nothing for my conversion rates. So before, I think I only had 4 of these, and then I added a bunch more, and then I added this video testimonial, and it did nothing for my conversion rate. Not anything statistically significant or reliable anyways. Now again, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't put testimonials on your page, right? I haven't tested completely removing my testimonials because I am a little bit of the old forum copywriter of I just can't not put testimonials on there. But compared to a 5 to 6% increase in this particular bit of proofing, that is significant. Now, I will say this, of all the sales pages I've ever written, the 5 to 6% increase on a single bit of proofing within a sales page is the most that I've ever seen. So, don't expect this every time you add bits of proof, but I will say that it is that much more powerful than testimonials. So, when you're getting your sales page ready and you're starting to launch, ask yourself, am I working on adding more proof to the sales page, or am I working on adding more testimonials to the sales page? Because the fact of the matter is, when you have a handful of testimonials, which should technically, really they should be unsolicited. It should be like you have a Facebook group and some people have said some nice things about you, you put it in there, something like that. If you have to ask for testimonials, just know that they're not as effective. But really, when you're getting ready for your launch, when you're getting ready to sell your product, what you should be spending the most time on, if you're thinking, what can I do to sell more? Get proof. Get proof that what you're selling works. One of the #1 problems I have with like 99% of the people who come to me to write their sales letter is they don't have any proof. They have no proof that the claims they're making in the sales letter are actually effective or work or anything like that. And that makes it very difficult to not only write a sales page, but to sell anything. You could be the best sales letter writer in the world, and with no proof, it's very, very difficult to see conversion. So that's one of the things that I always recommend to my clients after they've had a sales page written by me, and then they come back and they say, well, it's not really converting that great. Then my next thing is, well, you need to start adding some proof to that sales page because that's really what gets it going. So we'll talk a little bit about that in another video a little bit later on in the next week or so. But until then, below this video there should be an opt-in box. If you put your name and email into that opt-in box, I will send you 152 of the best subject lines from the past 90 days that I have been monitoring and sort of stealing from and swiping and things like that. These are working emails. They are subject lines that are getting opens, that are selling thousands and thousands of dollars. So if you put your name and email in that opt-in box below, I'll send that to you absolutely free of charge, and then I'll send you some really cool emails that you can swipe of my own. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me at support@mikeshreve.com, and I hope you all have an excellent weekend.